Australians make incredible podcasts. And if you want to stay up to date with the best Australian shows, then check out Oz Podcast. Look for us on social media and find your new favourite show from the Australian podcast directory on ozpodcast.com.au. That's OZPODCASTS, ozpodcast.com.au. Check it out.
If you like new stuff before anybody else, if you like to keep your finger on the pulse, if you like the future and want to be in it, keep on listening because we'll start in a minute. Techwebcast, the hosts and guests are unsurpassed. Techwebcast, cause technology it moves so fast. Techwebcast, ha, stick around and you're gonna have a blast. Yeah, Techwebcast, ha, ha, Techwebcast. Let's go.
Welcome to episode 309 of the Techwebcast podcast, recorded on the 11th of October, 2014. Techwebcast is recorded every Saturday at midday Melbourne time. Please rate us on iTunes and like us on Facebook.com/TechWebcast. Follow us on Twitter at Techwebcast. Your hosts today are Andrew, Brad, Belinda, Steve, myself, Jennifer, Jody, Neil, and Jacob. And our special guests tonight are John and Bethany Gotts from crowdedrocket.com. Hey, Brad.
Hey, Jennifer, how are you?
I am wonderful. How are you?
Are we on a plane?
It kind of sounds like it. I hear a little bit of static in the background. I feel like I'm on a plane right now.
Yeah, no,
Where are we going?
That's what I thought. That's what I thought. We were on a plane, but
I think it's Belinda.
We're going to Hawaii.
Crowded rocket.
yeah, we're on a rocket.
We're on a crowded rocket.
It's the Techwebcast at 30,000 feet.
Yeah, exactly. How's your week been, Jennifer?
It has been extremely busy. It has been great. I got a new toy.
Oh, yeah, I've seen that. Yep, you got a GoPro.
Yeah. I got the new GoPro 4 Black Edition on a whim last night. I was kind of in a mood, and I was like, what's going to cheer me up? Oh, let me go buy some new tech.
Yeah.
So that's what I did. And it's quite cool. I'm going to test it out tomorrow while I'm on the trails and see how it is, and test it out while I'm on this flight right where we are to Hawaii. So evidently we're still on a plane. I don't know. I hear a lot of background noise there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it sounds like we're on a plane or something.
It sure does.
Okay, that's good, Jen. Enjoy your new GoPro. Hopefully we'll hear more about it next week, maybe.
Thanks. You doing all right, Brad?
I'm going fantastic. Yeah, I'm good.
Wonderful.
Also, we've got Jacob on. Welcome, Jacob.
Hey, Brad.
How's your week been, mate?
All right, I know where the source of the airplane's coming from.
Where?
I think it's coming from Belinda.
Is it? Okay, I'm not sure.
Is it coming from me?
I think it may be.
Maybe it's my air conditioning. Maybe I should turn it on.
Could you mute your mic real quick and see if
maybe just mute if you're not talking, yeah.
Okay, how do I... here we go.
Yeah, if you can, yeah.
How do I mute it? Do I just click on the microphone thing?
I think so, yeah.
If you can mute it, we can figure out.
Yeah. Okay, anyway, we've got Steve on. Welcome back, Steve. Well, how are you, mate? How's your week been?
Hey, how you doing? Pretty good week. Doing fairly busy this week. And I heard about yourself. Well, I don't know if we can discuss.
Yes, we can. I've got that in the show notes right now. I'm about to mention that very soon about the new Techwebcast app that's coming out very soon. It'll be near the end of this year. Paul Carey's working on it, Steve.
Oh, okay. That's good. Yeah. Well, I figure I'd mention that. Well, of course, you're going to do it a little bit later on.
Go ahead, mention it. Go ahead. What do you want to say?
The Techwebcast mobile app's going to be coming out very soon, just like Brad said, and coming back. We did have one before, but there were some issues, but it's going to be re-released, all new on the, I'm guessing the Apple platform and maybe Android. I don't know if he does Android programming.
Yeah, Android. He does Android as well. It's going to be on the iPhone, on the new iPhones, and also not on the iPad at the moment. I'm not sure why, but it will be on there soon, I think.
All right.
And also, I want to mention Mike Elgin will be on next month to come on and co-host one show as well. That's great news, Jennifer.
That's super. I'm a huge Mike Elgin fan. So I think he's wonderful, and I am so excited that he'll be back on the show.
Mm-hmm. Great stuff. Also, we got Jody back on. Welcome, Jody.
Thank you, Brad. I'm glad to be back.
And how's your week been?
It's been a very busy week. A lot of stuff going on at work and home.
Okay.
So, but it's good to be back.
Good stuff. Good to have you on. We all missed you.
Thank you. I miss being here.
Yes, and it's good to have you back on. Good to get your new, get some views on some news stories and stuff. It's good to have you on. Who else is on here? We've got Neil on. Welcome, Neil.
Hey, Brad. How are you today?
Good, mate. How have you been? How's your week been?
Week's been pretty hectic. Been traveling all week for work. Today's my only day at home, so
Okay.
it's been good.
Good stuff, mate. You got the new iPhone too?
Yep, I got the little version.
I could get the iPhone 6. How do you like it, mate, so far?
So far, I'm loving it. Other than some of the complications that we were talking about with iOS 8 and some of the bugs, I'm really digging the larger screen. Took a little bit of time to get used to holding it in my hand because of it being a little bit bigger. But I'm seriously loving it. I think the display is amazing.
Yeah, it's great stuff. I've got the iPhone 6, and yeah, it's really good, nice one. Love it.
Cool.
Love it. We got Belinda back on. Welcome, Belinda.
Hang on a sec, I'm just gotta. Hi, how you going?
How's your week been?
Yeah, pretty good.
And
Yeah, I just found out that the noise was my air conditioner.
oh, okay, that's cool.
Yeah, so
fair
I've
enough.
so that's why the sound's gone now.
All good. And what have you been up to, Belinda? Anything exciting?
Just working, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Have you got the new iPhone yet?
As well. Not yet.
Okay.
Yeah, I've got to get on to Optus about that.
Okay. Yep. Definitely.
Yeah.
Optus. Yeah. Optus is a good company.
Yeah.
Also, we got Bethany on. Bethany Gotts on. Welcome, Bethany.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here.
First time on the podcast.
Yes, yeah. We've tried to line it up a few times, but I guess schedules just didn't collide right. So
Definitely. Have you been on many podcasts before, or?
I think Jennifer's and I want to say one or two others I've been on, but that's about it. Recently, I've kind of taken a back seat as far as podcasts go, just because I like working.
Yep. Okay.
That's my problem.
Fair enough. Also, we got John on. Welcome back, John. You've been on here before, mate.
Hey, how are you?
I'm good, mate. You're on the iPhone 6 Plus.
Yeah, I got the 16 gig first, but I loaded that up too quick, so I got the 128. And
nice. Yeah, good
the
stuff.
The picture taking capability is awesome, and just like he was saying, takes a little getting used to. It's a two-hand operation now instead of a one.
Yep.
You're gonna hurt your hand, but I think it's amazing. And now I don't use my iPad Mini ever.
That's what I was about to ask you. Yeah, you're still using your iPad now? Probably not.
No, my Mini has bit the dust now. I don't use it ever. And yeah, Bethany and I leave the iPad Mini now in the bathroom to use for reading when you're sitting on the loop. Okay. And that's its only purpose now. When we come out with the watch in January, I think that'll be perfect as a matchup for the 6 Plus. And then that's it.
Yeah, definitely. Has Bethany got the new iPhone?
No.
She wants the 6.
Oh, she has a 6. Okay.
No, wants a 6.
Oh, wants a 6. Okay, she wants a 6. Okay.
Yeah, she has the 5 still. But now I look at the 5 and it's like, oh my gosh, how could I ever read
so
that?
Small.
It's so small. Yeah, it's amazing.
Tell us about that car you checked out the other day, John, that BMW a while back. You've seen some photos on Facebook.
Oh, yeah, that was the new BMW i8. It was incredible, as it kind of looked like something that just drove out of a movie, really. But I think if you read any reviews on it, you'll realize very quickly that it's just kind of impractical, unless you kind of want a toy car to just drive around and look sporty in and have fun driving. It's really
fantastic.
It's really comfortable to sit in, but as far as getting in and out of it, it is so difficult, and not for somebody that is disabled at all. You couldn't. So besides that, it seemed like a great car, and people said it drove nice, and so it was pretty fun to be in and take pictures with. But the trunk space is pretty bad, and I heard somebody that they put their laptop in there, and because it's right above the engine in the back, it melted some of the components on the laptop. I know, so you can't really use that for anything. So I would much prefer a Tesla compared to it, but it was a pretty cool car if you just want a toy car to drive around.
Very nice car, though. Very nice.
Yeah, and I want to see the Tesla D, whatever that's going to be. That's going to be something that goes from 0 to 60 in like 2.5 seconds or something like that.
Oh,
Crazy.
they announced it today, John. That's what I was telling you about.
That's
it's
fast.
The what was it? The S. Then it's an upgrade to S, is what I understand. I didn't have a whole lot of time to read about it, but
so the D stands for drive, so it's got all of the self-driving capabilities.
Well, and what I love about Tesla too is that i8 has a 20-mile range or 30-mile range on electric, and then it has to switch to gas. So it's an electric car, but it's a hybrid. I want a Tesla. It's always electric.
Okay. Jennifer, did you see the photos at all, Jennifer?
I have not seen the photos. I've been pretty swamped at work, so I've been a little bit disengaged for the past day or two.
All right.
So I missed out. I saw like headlines and stuff, but yeah, I need to definitely.
Very pretty, but just impractical.
Yeah, definitely. All right, let's get into some news then, and we'll come back and have a chat with John and Bethany about what they do.
Crowded box.
Let's go to the news intro.
In the Techwebcast news, Lenovo product engineer Ashton Kutcher is saying he's not concerned about the upcoming iPad launch. So on Thursday, Lenovo launched the Yoga Tablet 2, which comes equipped with either Android or Windows 8. It's available in 3 different sizes, ranging from 8 to 13 inches, and the tablets are ranged between $249 and $499 US. On the smaller end, the 8 and 10-inch tablets, Windows or Android, will have a resolution of 1920 by 1080, while the larger 13-inch Pro version, which is Android only, will have a resolution of 2560 by 1440. The tablets will come equipped with a 180 degrees kickstand, and the 13-inch Pro model comes equipped with a built-in Pico projector that can project an image up to 50 inches on the wall, and that is its defining feature. The tablets and 2 new all-in-one yoga laptops are created by Lenovo in conjunction with Mr. Ashton Kutcher, who is the product engineer at the company. So as we all know, that he also starred in Steve Jobs as Jobs, the movie that was directed by Joshua Michael Stern. So in an interview with the Wall Street Journal, Kutcher actually sat down to talk about the creation of the Yoga Tablet 2 Pro and gave his thoughts on Apple's upcoming iPad lineup. And according to Kutcher, he traveled to China to brainstorm a product consumers want with the aim of making a, quote, great entertainment device, end quote. And so for that reason, the Pro tablet comes equipped with a subwoofer and an 8-watt speaker, along with a 13-inch screen. And to quote him again, because people use it in the home, we don't need to create the super portable device, Kutcher said. And with the projector, users don't need to look for an HDMI cord or to use AirPlay because there's a built-in 50-inch screen. So just basically, he's not worried about the upcoming iPad launch. And Belinda, I think you have some news about Telstra.
Yes, that's right. Telstra is following in the footsteps of New York by turning its payphones into Wi-Fi hotspots as part of a massive bid for nationwide Wi-Fi coverage. And Telstra will be turning on hotspots built into its payphones in other public areas at 1,000 sites around Australia in November. The locations include Melbourne's Burke Street Mall, Bondi Beach in Sydney, Adelaide's Rundle Mall, Queen Street Mall in Brisbane, Elizabeth Street in Hobart, and the Civic Centre in Canberra, as well as Hay Street Mall in Perth and Smith Street Mall in Melbourne. Other locations to get the Wi-Fi networks include 6 stadiums and concert venues, including Etihad Stadium in Melbourne, the Adelaide Oval and Sydney Cricket Ground. It's a trial of Telstra's Wi-Fi Nation product, set for rollout next year. The strategy is to roll out Wi-Fi for everyone around Australia in major areas, as well as giving customers access to phone, FON, hotspots all over the world. But there is a catch. Because it's part of Telstra's Wi-Fi Nation strategy, you'll have to be a Telstra broadband customer to use the service free of charge. But if you're not, you will be hit with what the Big T describes as a small fee to connect.
Wow, that's pretty interesting. I'm glad that they're actually launching some payphones that are going to be Wi-Fi hotspots. Sounds pretty cool. So, yeah, definitely. So also in the news, coming from Mac Rumors, actually it's all over the news, not just Mac Rumors, but as we expected, Apple will be holding a media event on Thursday, October 16th at the Town Hall Auditorium and on its Cupertino headquarters campus, with the company sending out media invitations for the event. Now, the event will will begin at 10 a.m. Pacific, and invitations carry the tagline, quote, "It's been way too long." So Apple is expected to introduce its updated iPad Air and possibly a new iPad mini, as well as updated iMacs with at least the 27-inch model carrying a high-res Retina display. And also, OS X Yosemite is also likely to see its final overview before the public launch. And one rumor has suggested updated Mac minis are also in the works and could see an announcement at the event. And Belinda, what else do you have in the news?
Telstra's bundling of Foxtel with its own internet and home phone line services has traditionally been an attractive proposition. Pay for two services on the one bill and get a discount. But with the recent massive price cut for Foxtel plans, dropping the entry-level price to just $25 a month, Telstra's $49 minimum starts to look a lot less enticing. Instead of cutting prices, Telstra is adding more content to those existing plans. A tip from readers a reader has pointed out that the support page of Telstra's website detailing some imminent changes for existing Foxtel on Telstra customers. If you are one of those customers who bundles their Foxtel cable subscription with a Telstra account for internet, home phone or other service, you should have already received a letter telling you the changes to your service. Depending on the level of your existing Foxtel on Telstra subscription, you'll get a different range of new channels and adjustments to your plan. The current Essentials package for Foxtel on Telstra, for example, includes 42 channels including Fox 8, FX and MTV, while the Premium Movies and Drama and Sports package each add on 10 more. Those packages will change but won't mirror the new Foxtel collections as of 3 November. It's also important to note that if you're a Foxtel on T-Box customer, the updated plans don't apply to you. Foxtel on T-Box is already impressively cheap if you don't need the huge amount of channels that the cable subscription offers. Even if it won't be on sale for long itself, Telstra is checking as to precisely what those changes to the Foxtel on Telstra packages will be. As it stands, it doesn't make much sense to pay $49 a month for the cheapest Foxtel on Telstra package when you could be getting it for $25 directly from Foxtel, unless there's a big difference in the channels on offer. So Australia's largest telco will have to work hard to keep its customers happy.
Okay, thank you, Belinda. That's interesting. Well, moving on to the next story coming from Mashable.com. It is about Lego, and they are going to end the partnership with Shell after the Greenpeace campaign. So Lego is not going to renew its marketing deal with Shell, and this is after Greenpeace published a video criticizing the toy maker for its association with the oil company Shell. Published in July, entitled Lego, Everything is Not Awesome, the 2-minute video shows a Lego landscape drowning in oil, and Greenpeace's message at the end of the video, which attracted nearly 6 million views on YouTube, claims Shell is, quote, polluting our kids' imaginations. So as part of a co-promotion with Shell, Lego frequently releases Shell-branded toy sets. Initially, Lego shook off Greenpeace's campaign, claiming the matter must be handled between Shell and Greenpeace. Now, however, Lego CEO Jorgen Vig Nunstarp says that the campaign will honor its marketing contract with Shell, which was signed in 2011, but will not renew it after it ends. To quote him, he says, "We continuously consider many different ways of how to deliver our promise of bringing creative play to more children. We want to clarify that things currently stand. We will not renew the co-promotion contract with Shell when the present contract ends." In a blog post, Greenpeace welcomed the move, saying it's, quote, "a huge blow to Shell's strategy of partnering with beloved brands to clean up its dirty image as the Arctic oil driller." And over to you, Belinda.
Race for 4G supremacy is on between the two top telcos in Australia, Telstra and Optus, with the news that Telstra will switch on its 4GX network more broadly around Australia at the end of next year. Optus has name-checked 118 regions around the country that will benefit from its expanded 4G rollout in the next 3 to 6 months. In a media release, Optus says it is bringing its 4G network using both its purchased 700 MHz and the equally new 2600 MHz band to 200 regional locations and holiday destinations throughout the country. The list of regions broken down by state lists a total of 118 localities, towns and cities, including Wagga Wagga, Bunbury and Pilbara, with a further 35 locations co-listed. Murray River is listed with the 7.6 kilometre distance Swan Hill in Victoria. 155 in total. Where Optus gets that claim of 200 new Aussie destinations from is not clear. In an update, an Optus spokesperson has clarified the number, and the locations are broken down into general regional areas like the South Coast, Upper Murray, Granite Belt, Eyre Peninsula and the like. Within each regional area, there will be several towns that make up the regional area, which brings it to 200 locations, including holiday destinations. These areas mostly haven't had access to 4G through Optus mobile phone network ever before, and the rollout will massively expand the reach of existing 4G network. The imminent Optus 4G rollout of 700 MHz is comparatively massive and will provide special benefit to metropolitan areas where the issues of indoor coverage and difficult terrain have to be overcome. Optus has also already switched on next generation LTE advanced carrier aggregation for its 4G plus network, providing very fast download speeds, although no device yet supports it. An increasing number of devices support the 700 MHz and 2600 MHz 4G frequency bands used by Optus for its large-scale rollout, including the 700 MHz capable Samsung Galaxy 5S, LG G3, and HTC One M8. 2600 MHz support is similarly improving with its iPhone 5S and 6 II of several handsets that support the standard. This network is distinct from Optus' own 4G plus network, which uses a novel in Australia 2300 MHz frequency holding and the TD-LTE transmission standard. Optus coverage maps don't yet seem to show the planned rollouts for the regions listed in the company's media release just yet. Looking at Wagga Wagga, for example, doesn't show any difference in the map and doesn't show any 4G network coverage of the area when selecting either the 3 or 6 month options. But they expect it to be updated soon.
Thank you, Belinda. And this story is coming from Mashable.com, and there's talking about the cops that are locked out of the new iPhone. Yes, well, now they're saying guess again. So, with the launch of iOS 8, Apple announced that the company would no longer help police get some of the most sensitive data on your phone, including messages, emails, contacts, and call history. And it's not that it doesn't want to anymore. It's now that Apple says it can no longer do it even if it wanted to. Apple cannot bypass your passcode and therefore cannot access this data, the company said in its new privacy policy. So many, including privacy advocates, rejoiced at the news, but some police officers are not that happy. And although there are still other ways cops can get their hands on your iPhone data, authorities are still complaining. To quote the New York Police Department, "It definitely is going to impact investigations. There's no doubt about that." And that says, that's from Dennis Dragos, who's a former police detective in New York, who's been working for 11 years in the computer crime squad. Detectives are trained to follow down every single lead, follow every possible trail until you get the resolution of your investigation, he continued. Now this is a dead end. You're closing a door that was available before. Dragos is not the only one who thinks that way. On Thursday, FBI Director James Comey himself said that he was very concerned about Apple's decision. The chief of detectives for Chicago's police department said that because of this change, Apple will become the phone of choice for the pedophile. For some law enforcement officials, this could become a matter of life and death. In a Washington Post, Ronald Hosko, he said that he complained actually that the Apple's new privacy stance, later followed by Android, will protect many thousands of criminals who seek to do us great harm physically or financially. Criminals' phones contain contacts, texts, geotag data that can help police track down accomplices. These new rules will make it impossible for us to access that information. They will create needless delays that could cause victims their lives. But privacy advocates and security researchers are skeptical. To quote again, "I think that there's a lot of kicking and screaming over this, but cops have been able to do their job just fine for the past 200 years in this country without having to access people's personal data on their iPhone." And that's coming from Jonathan Zdarsky, a forensic and security researcher who's worked as a consultant with police agencies. Criminals are just as stupid today as they've always been, and they're going to leave traces and evidence in a number of places. Moreover, despite all the controversy, there are actually a few ways for the police to get at least some data from an iPhone with iOS 8 and protected by a passcode. In this article, they actually have broken down a few ways that cops can still get their hands on your digital belongings. So number one, getting your iCloud backup. If cops cannot get the data that's locally stored on an iPhone, they might still be able to get it from the cloud. Apple prompts users to back up their iDevices to iCloud, and the data can be obtained by law enforcement agents with a search warrant. Yes, iCloud backups are encrypted, but they're encrypted with a key that is in Apple's possession. So Apple can be legally required to turn the backups over if served with a valid legal request. With iCloud, police can potentially get any data from your phone unless you turn off the automated backup or you only back up certain data. Another way, using forensic tools. Now, forensic tools are a great way to get your data, or some of the data rather, out of your iPhone. If a police arrests you and gets both your phone and a computer that can be used to connect to your phone using iTunes, such as a paired device, they can dump some data out of it by bypassing your passcode using existing forensic tools. So in this case, the passcode doesn't even protect you because Apple has designed the system to allow you to access some data on your phone using iTunes or Xcode without unlocking your device. The caveat here is that only some data is available in this scenario, in particular any data from third-party apps such as Facebook, Twitter, Evernote, photos, videos, recordings, and iTunes media such as books and podcasts. But data from native iOS applications such as iMessages, emails, or calls are out of reach. Now, to prevent this from happening, you can use pair lock. You can pair lock your iPhone so that it doesn't pair with any new computer, preventing police computers from pairing with your iPhone. Another way is they can get a hold of your iTunes backup as well, and there's a few other ways listed here. Just for the sake of time, I will not read at every one, but they can somehow force you to give up your passcode. They can break your Touch ID, and they have a few other options listed. So, even though you think your phone may be 100% secure from the cops, that's not quite the case. If you're a criminal, beware. And Belinda, do you have one last story for us?
Yes, thanks, Jen. On Thursday, Instagram rolled out a big improvement to the way embedded photos will look on the internet. Embedded Instagram photos will now be bigger and cleaner than before, with a narrower bezel around the frame and a follow button above the image. This will make it easier for readers to follow the Instagram account of the embedded photos owner via a follow button. The move to feature larger photos is a smart one for Instagram. Publishers that embed photos on websites or articles, especially media outlets, will most likely be pleased with the refreshed design and more inclined to embed Instagram photos. Users whose photos are embedded in stories will also have an easier way to accrue followers. Existing embeds featured on websites will continue to work, but Instagram warned there may be a small time period right after the launch which embeds could be glitchy. However, for a user to easily follow another account on a mobile device via the follow button on the embedded photo, he or she must be logged into the app and the mobile desktop page, a requirement that might prevent users from impulse following some accounts. And back to you, Jen.
Yes, indeed. They're great news stories, Jennifer and Belinda. Thanks for reading them out. Good stuff, Belinda.
Thanks.
And I'm actually looking at the new Instagram website right now, Jennifer. It looks very nice.
You know, I am about to log into it right now and take a look.
Yeah, looks really nice. Really nice.
Yeah, it does look nice.
Now, do we have Andrew on the line? Andrew, you there, mate?
I am here, Brad. How are you, buddy?
How are you, mate? How's your week been? We can't be real. We have to be really quick. So, you know, what are you up to?
Yeah,
and where?
Yeah, my week's been really good. It's been a pretty busy one. We're still waiting for iTunes to actually release the new Rewind app, which is a little bit frustrating. But we've had a pretty busy week, and there's always lots happening, which is good. And yeah, it's a beautiful sunny day in Melbourne today. So I'm actually out doing a photography course.
Oh, nice one.
Can you believe that? And yeah, so I've spent the morning in St Kilda on St Kilda Pier, and I'm just in a car on the way to Melbourne at the moment to resume the second part of the day.
Whose car are you in?
I'm in Dorothy. She's one of the people who is doing the course with me. And
hey, Dorothy, how are you?
Yeah, she's good, mate. She's good. So yeah, so we're just cruising through, and we're on our way to the second part of the course. So
what are you doing at the course, there, mate? Doing some painting or something, or taking photos?
No, it's taking photos. So learning all about aperture and you know, zoom and lenses, and basically how to take some cool photos and get off auto mode on my Nikon DSLR camera.
Oh, nice one. That's a good one. And you got a voucher for your birthday, right?
I did. This was a voucher from my wife for my birthday back in March. So it's fantastic to finally do that, and yeah, it's great. There's about half a dozen of us doing the course, and a cool bunch of people.
Oh, good stuff. But, Andrew, we also got Jody back. Do you want to say anything to Jody before you go, mate?
Jody, great to have you back on the show. Yeah, we've really missed you. So fantastic to have you back on the show. I'll hang around obviously for a few minutes as well. And we've got John and Bethany there too.
We do indeed. Yes, we do indeed.
And yeah, they've got some fantastic, exciting things happening at the moment. So yeah, that's really looking forward to seeing how things go with those guys.
Okay. Did you hear any of the news stories at all, Andrew? At all?
I did. I heard a few of them. Interesting one with the police and technology and stuff like that. Yeah. And I think it was Jody who said, you know, we've had 200 years without needing all of this technology. Why do we need it now? It's a really interesting question. I mean, it comes back to just because it's available doesn't mean that we need it or should use it. I don't know what the correct direction or what the right way to go about that is, but certainly something to ponder. You know, just because we can look up people's names and do all this sort of stuff, you know, should we? Don't know.
That's a good question. Any other views you want to mention, Andrew, than stories, mate?
Not really. Just you know, really excited with what the future holds. There's a lot of things happening for me between now and Christmas, and yeah, some really good times. And just want to put a shout out to my good mate Scott Jordan out in America. He's having his 50th birthday this weekend, so I know there's a whole bunch of cool kids who've gathered for that. I was actually hoping to get out there, but couldn't quite make it. But I am wearing a Scotty vest, a Tropic Former at the moment, for my photography course, and I've got crap in every single pocket. It's fantastic.
Great stuff, mate. Great stuff. Now, have you made the switch to Optus yet? You still on Vodafone?
Oh, haven't made it yet, Brad. Okay. I am working on it. It's just been a busy week. So
that's cool, man.
Yes. What can you do?
What can you do? You're busy. That's all you can do, mate. Just keep doing what you're doing. Also, Andrew, we are working on a new Techwebcast app. You probably heard about it.
Yeah, I saw that with Paul during the week. So it's fantastic that Paul's put his hand up and said that he'll help out and build that with us. So that's really great. And I've seen a few little snippets of that, and it's coming along quite nicely. Still a little bit of work to do, of course, definitely. But it's really great that he's put his hand up to help out with that one. So
it's all volunteer, all the work and that sort of thing, and appreciate what he's done. He's a great guy, and check out his app too.
He's a really great guy.
And okay, let's go to Jody. Do you have any views on them stories at all?
Well, a couple, yeah. Regarding the police and their ability to investigate using phones, there's been a lot of controversy here in New Jersey and the United States, specifically having to do with the rights of law enforcement to take somebody's phone and determine whether the person, let's say, for example, was texting at the time of an accident. Right now, I believe that we're moving towards that kind of ability for police, but there has been a lot of protest by people who feel that the information that's in their phone is private. Personally, based upon my own experience, I really do want law enforcement to have the ability to get into that phone. If somebody is involved in a criminal act, regardless of whether it's something to do with, like God forbid, there's an accident and somebody is killed, or if the person is involved in stalking somebody else, there's a lot of information that can be contained in the phone. And I think that specifically in these criminal matters, the police and or law enforcement should have the ability to utilize that information. They can confiscate computers, they can confiscate routers, but this is another piece of information that I think is very, very important. The other story that I found quite interesting had to do with Ashton Kutcher being a product engineer for Lenovo. I mean, really? But what was fascinating is the fact that the new tablet that they're introducing will be able to project an image onto a wall. And I thought that we had projection TV previously.
Yeah, we do. Yeah.
I know, right? But this is a big move forward for Lenovo. So
good on.
I just thought that was kind of curious.
Okay. Anything else, Jody?
Is that not enough, Brad?
Is that all you want to say?
Well, I just, I did want to say thank you to Andrew and his family for their kind condolences, and I appreciated the flowers very much and the thoughtfulness, and I am glad to be back. Thank you.
Yes, we're happy to have you back. Neil, what about you, mate? You got any views on them stories at all?
I definitely found it interesting. I had no idea that Ashton Kutcher was a product manager for anybody. And when I was actually looking through the article and reading a little bit more, I noticed that the product manager title was in quotes. So I wonder if he's just kind of doing like a liaison to kind of like what Justin Timberlake was doing with the new MySpace, right? It was just kind of using his ideas and using kind of his celebrity power to kind of influence. We all know that Ashton Kutcher's huge into tech, right? I mean, if you follow him on Twitter, he's involved in all types of technology, not just social networking. But I found that was actually kind of interesting. And my opinion is he shouldn't be worried about Apple. I mean, he makes an Android. They make an Android and a Windows-based product. And I mean, there's people buy the device that they're the most comfortable with and that they're the most adjusted to, and more importantly, the most investment into the ecosystem. People who buy Apple products they buy iPads because they have Macs, they have iPhones, and they have Apple TVs, and they live within that economy, right? You buy your products through the App Store. People who buy Androids use Google Play, and they have Google devices. So I don't think you should be worried about what Apple's going to announce. If a consumer is out there looking for a Windows tablet or an Android tablet, he should be concerned about what Samsung is going to do, not necessarily Apple. So that's just kind of my take on that story. And then the other one, I agree. I definitely have to agree with Jody. I think the police should definitely have the ability to get into phones. However, I don't necessarily agree with the fact that a police officer can pull you over and immediately just ask for your phone and you have to give it up. Because this is that I think is kind of infringing off of our rights of privacy. I believe growing up with a 20-year veteran police officer as a dad. I've been around good cops and bad cops, and I don't like the fact that a cop can, walk up to you and say, "Give me your phone," and then just start scrolling through and finding incriminating evidence to charge against you more. I'm a car guy, right? Mm-hmm. So I've got a few things illegal on my car, and I can get pulled over for not having a front license plate, but then they'll probably ding me for my exhaust system or my intake system or my lowered suspension, all these types of things, when in actuality, all they did was pull me over for the front plate and then start looking for problems. You know what I mean? Right. So I agree. I think that, that the police should have the ability to get into phones, especially, bad people, predators and those likes of people. I mean, obviously, Jody, you mentioned stalking, and yeah, I mean, if you're having an issue, I've had personal friends that have had issues like that, and I think that phone is going to be a device that they're going to use to do a lot of their illegal activity, and I think police should have an ability to get into that device.
Mm. Neil, do you have an Apple TV at all?
I do have an Apple TV.
Do you use it much, mate?
I actually use it pretty much every day of my life. It's doing one of two things. It's either streaming Netflix for the kids or streaming music from my iTunes library while I'm cleaning house, cooking, or just relaxing. So, yeah, I use it every day.
Good stuff. Reckon they'll announce anything about the Apple TV on the 16th next week?
I typically watch it on my computer because, again, that's when the kids they're watching Netflix and streaming Disney cartoons and all kinds of crazy stuff. So I typically do all that from my office.
So you reckon they'll announce anything about the Apple TV next week?
Oh, that was the question.
Yeah, sorry.
Honestly, I'm not sure. I think the rumors are they're going to announce pretty much updates to everything other than the iPhone, and I just don't see that happening. I just don't see Apple releasing refreshed hardware for every single one of their devices all within 1 year. So I'm not sure if the Apple TV is going to be there, although the Apple TV is, 2 years now? 2 years old, the current edition, and that could be way too long. We obviously know that the iMacs... Right. I wish the one thing that I wish that they would announce, which in actuality is way too long. I want them to come out with a new Thunderbolt display that supports Retina or a 4K display.
Yeah, definitely. That's definitely yeah, for sure.
I'm sitting here with my 27-inch monitor in front of me right now, and it's just like I waited and waited and waited when I bought this last December because everybody thought we were going to get a Retina display or a 4K display when they announced the Mac Pro, and they never did it. And that's what I think. That would be the shocker that would make me happy.
Yeah,
I've got the newest MacBook Pro. I've got the monitor, so my Apple TV works. I want a high resolution screen.
Yeah, definitely. I agree, definitely, and maybe a better iPad too. And
yeah.
Can't wait for the new iPad to come out because I'm getting one for sure. Let's go to Steve. What about you, mate?
Hey, yeah, of course I'm going to do the about the Apple and data and the cops. It's hard not to. I think Apple positioning on this is they're trying to get away from being able to access the data even themselves for a couple of reasons. Obviously, the public doesn't like releasing, the data anyway, and I think also is any kind of data where it's stored up in the cloud, they're trying to get away from as well, except for stuff they really need to have, or people actually put it on like the iCloud drive or whatever, because then you got to worry about some hacker going into their website and getting their information as well. Of course, I'm not against the cops legitimately, if they have a cell phone in their car, perhaps, maybe, I haven't totally decided on this yet, be able to access
Steve,
it. Yeah.
So what they can actually pull you over and they can actually ask for the phone, can they?
I'm
that?
still out on that. I'm not sure if they can do it here. Now, they are allowed to search your car if they have probable cause here in the United States, depending on what state you live in. But it doesn't necessarily mean they can ask you to unlock it, or if it has a touch ID, necessarily put your thumb on it or something like that. That might be a different story altogether. I don't know. I'd like to hear some state laws on this. If anybody.
Yeah, there's pending legislation here in New Jersey. It's not been approved yet, but it's something that is controversial and it has been discussed quite a bit in the legislature. But that's interesting, Steve, what you said about the cloud, because I'm wondering how much of this is a direct result of the fact that some celebrities, let's say less than clothed photos,
yeah, of course,
were recently picked up through the cloud.
Well, that was one of the features to allow to, of course, people don't realize this or don't think about it where it gets released. But then again, there's not any evidence showing that they actually hacked in the iCloud. They just got their password using social engineering or something like that. Anyway.
All right, Steve, any other comments, mate?
Oh, that was it. Yeah.
All right, let's go to John. What about you, John? What's your view on them stories, mate?
I don't know. I guess I don't really care if the police track my phone or look at anything that's on my phone. And if I don't want something on my phone, I shouldn't put it on my phone. I don't send Snapchats of anything that shouldn't be sent, that if it went public somehow would embarrass me or my family. So I really couldn't care less. And this whole privacy thing, everyone freaking out about their privacy, everybody puts it out there every day on Facebook and Twitter and LinkedIn and Blogspot and WordPress and Tumblr and Pinterest and Instagram and Snapchat, and how far do you want to go? So who cares, really? Just in fact, if I was ever lost in the mountains or something, or hurt or that, and they used the phone to find me, I'd be pretty thankful they could track me. So
yeah, definitely.
I don't have a problem.
Yeah, that comes in handy, that part, doesn't find your iPhone, that sort of thing. And
yeah, in fact, check this out. I was in San Jose the other day, and I parked a block away from where I thought I'd parked, and when I got back, I was absolutely dead certain my car had been stolen.
Oh, wow.
And so I called the police and everything, and it was going, but the first thing I did was call Bethany and say, Bethany, jump on your PC, your iMac, and tell me where the iPad is, her MacBook Air is, because it's in the suitcase in the front, or in the trunk of the car, and we'll find this thing. And I had the police on the phone while she was on the phone, and then as they're walking me over into a shady spot, I hit my button and I hear the car beep. I'm like, I'm so sorry.
Good stuff.
Wow, that's a little bit embarrassing, right?
Right. It was good.
But that does come in handy, doesn't it, John?
But the first thing I thought about was, grab the device that's in the car right now. Where is it? And I would have been, if my car had been stolen, unless they'd removed the suitcase, and I had the keys, so it doesn't open from the inside, chances are we would have recovered the car.
Okay.
So I don't mind. Track it away. In fact, I wish if Bethany and I get married, or rather get married, I have kids, we're married. If we have kids, I'll chip those kids. Dang it. I'll stick chips in their toes and their feet, and I don't care where, because if anything happens to them, I'm going to know exactly where they are.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
So I'm on the other side of that one completely.
All right, mate. Any other views on the other stories, mate?
No, Ashton Kutcher, Bethany, she wanted to talk about him, and I was like, no, Ashton's not a terrible guy, but I'll let her take that. All right. She had a good point, I guess.
All right, good stuff, mate. All right, Bethany, what about you? What's your view on them stories? Okay, is she not there?
She had her mute on, guys. Hold on.
Oh, she's muted.
I was talking. I thought I just had.
That's all right.
Ashton Kutcher, why is he talking about this? He must just be a kind of a liaison officer. I mean, I know he's done a lot in the tech space with different tech things, but as far as I know, he's an actor. He never really went to MIT or Harvard or started a company or anything. So as a tech person, I don't really respect his opinion. Maybe I'm misinformed or wrong, but do you? I mean, how do you feel about his opinion on tech?
Has he put out any? I thought he put out like an iPhone app or something. He made an iPhone app.
Well, I mean, even Steve Wozniak said that he didn't go and see the movie because he didn't even consult the engineers on it.
Wow.
And in fact, when he reached out to Kutcher and said he was available to correct things that were wrong in the script, Kutcher wouldn't meet with him. So right there, I'm just like, well, I don't really care what Ashton Kutcher has to say.
Well, even Kim
Kardashian.
And as far as
Oh, go ahead. Yeah,
sorry.
not Patrick.
Even Kim Kardashian.
Kim Kardashian put out an app.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Steve. Sorry, talking over each other. Go ahead, Steve.
Even Kim Kardashian put out an app, but I don't consider her a tech enthusiast or know about tech at all. In fact, she obviously had somebody else design it for her. But
I was just about to say, do we really think Kim Kardashian programmed an app?
Yeah, I don't think she did.
Yeah.
No.
She did. No, I don't think she did.
I don't see Kim sitting around in her limo, messing around on her MacBook with Swift.
Yeah.
Look, it's interesting that Ashton has, had a few good bets in tech, but I know for a fact that he's made a lot of investments. So, ultimately, from a percentage perspective, he's had a few good wins, but he's put a lot of money into a lot of things that are probably also sunk.
Correct.
Yeah, maybe things we haven't heard of. I know I'm a huge Uma fan, and that's what I use in my home. So, and I believe he was behind that.
Yeah, I'll tell you one thing, sure. Investors do not tell you all about the things that they invested in that failed miserably. That's the conversation they don't have.
Yeah,
Okay.
the things we never hear about.
That's true.
Go ahead.
I was going to ask have you got any more views in them stories at all?
Oh, no, I think that phone booths as Wi-Fi are just amazing, and I wish every country and city would take the initiative and do that. That would so help humanity and people.
Yeah, definitely. You guys don't have that over there?
No. They make you pay for the internet, and they make you pay a lot for the internet.
And they already removed all the phone booths.
So there's no actual free Wi-Fi around the city where you can walk around and jump on the free
No.
Wi-Fi? Wow.
No, if there's free Wi-Fi, that's like at a coffee shop, and if you get 20 people on it, it's going to crash.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So, Bethany, you need to pack your bags and move to St. Louis because about 4 years ago they started the citywide initiative, and for last I heard, pretty much if you're within the borders of St. Louis, you get free Wi-Fi.
No way, really? That is awesome.
Yeah.
Might have to do that. I think we're going to be in San Francisco first, but then maybe St. Louis.
San Francisco still. You would think San Francisco would be San Francisco, San Jose, Mountain View. You would think that would be one of the hubs for that type of technology, but no. Not yet.
No, but the companies are making way too much charging people for it, so why on earth would they want to make it free?
Exactly.
In Australia, Telstra offers free Wi-Fi, or they're just about to, in the major city areas. And I know that Adelaide in Australia, which is considered a slow city, they have free Wi-Fi all throughout their CBD district. So Vincent is a regular listener of our show, and he enjoys free Wi-Fi all the time when he's in Adelaide.
Yeah, definitely. I think that's free Wi-Fi in Telstra from Telstra. That's going to be free too, isn't it, Andrew, in the city and that?
Yeah, correct. If you're a Telstra customer, as soon as you get into town, bang, free Wi-Fi.
Yeah, but I got told there was free though. If you weren't a customer of Telstra, they told me if you're not a customer, it's still free.
I'd be very surprised if they were handing out free Wi-Fi to people who aren't customers. I'd be very surprised.
Oh, Telstra just told me the wrong information. Then they suck. Then just okay. Well.
I wonder if this free Wi-Fi.
What's that?
Sorry, go ahead, Belinda.
I was just going to say, in the story, it mentioned that Telstra would charge people who aren't customers with them.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Does it say how much or?
No, just whatever. It said cheap, so.
Okay.
Not a very expensive fee, but I don't know what expensive and not expensive is to Telstra. So. Yeah. Interesting. To know.
Okay, good. That's good.
What I was going to say is when they light up cities with Wi-Fi, because there are a lot of cities in the United States that have it, some of the smaller cities, and they light up a city with Wi-Fi. But I'm wondering, really, how great is it? Because every time I go to one of these smaller cities that happen to have it, it's fine, but I can't. It's slow. It's basically unusable. So I'm wondering really what are the speeds going to be like? It's something that you can actually use. Is it only for street coverage but not in building coverage? So those are kinds of things that I'm interested in.
I'm sure Telstra will have pretty good Wi-Fi because they put out pretty good internet speeds and stuff. With cable.
That's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably so.
They have a good name for internet and stuff. And Jacob, what about you, mate? What's your view on them stories?
Hey, about the hotspots, I don't think that's right, but not saying how much they're going to charge you for the Telstra hotspots.
Yeah. Well, I don't really need Wi-Fi anyway, Jacob, because I get 8 gigs a month on 4G, so I don't really need it. So that's usually,
Yeah, when I FaceTime you, it's perfect. It doesn't even faze me.
Really?
No, it does. But whenever you walk into a store or something, it'll it'll sometimes cut out or just saying reconnecting. Sometimes.
Talk about that app real quick, Jake, about Talko.
Oh, of course.
Taco?
Mention it real quick, mate. Mention it real quick.
Yeah, Taco.
Yeah.
Not the food taco. It's just talk with a O at the end.
Yeah.
But the Taco did make a joke with it's taco time with Taco.
Yeah. Or mention the app, mate. What does it do?
Well, put this way, it replaces Voxer. It's a lot better.
I love this app, and I'll tell you the reason I love that app is because it allows for simultaneous communication. So we can all be in a conference talking at exactly the same time, and it's the full duplex audio, right? So it's not where you talk and then I talk, and it cuts off after each one. You can talk at the same time and have a real conversation, and insert the images, and it's all very fluid. And then the enterprise version allows you to archive those messages, and the consumer version they do self-destruct after a while, but that's after a few days of no use that is self-destruct. So I love it. I love the app. I think it's fantastic, and I think it's a win.
So Jen, do you actually use the that more than iMessage for audio messages, or?
I've been using it every day. But I can only use it with my friends, the people that have it. So that's the one thing.
That's what's good about it, because you don't get all them random messages and stuff, and that's
how is it different to Skype? I mean, we're group chatting now through Skype.
Talko that's made for the iPhone, mate. It's way better than Skype.
You're not tied into a so you can pretty much drop in, leave.
Exactly.
Leave whenever you want to, drop in whenever you want to.
Yeah.
And join live if you want to do that, and it's all using internet, of course. So it's all data, just like Skype is. But Skype is you're actually making a connected call. With this, it's like either walkie-talkie or you want to talk at the same time and have a full conversation. And give it a shot. It's different from Voxer. It's different from the others. They really are onto something.
It's very
nice.
very private, so you don't need to give it. There's no username like that, is there, Jennifer?
Yeah, you're right. I believe it is pretty. I'm trying to think of how I connected with people that were in my Facebook account. So, and then I think I searched for you.
Yeah, you came up because you're in my address book, and that's what that's the way you can get hold of.
That's what it was. The address book.
Yeah,
that's what it was. Yeah.
So, the
name of the app is Talko, TALKO. So if you go to TALKO.com, and you will find all the information about the app. It is iOS only right now, and they should be coming out with an Android version as well.
Yeah, John, you're on there. Do you use it, John? I know you're on there, mate.
Actually, I used it for about a day and thought that it was trying too hard to take over my phone as my phone and everything else. And there was another product like that. Similarly, I can't remember the name of that one that came and went, but Scoble liked it for a while, and he might still be using it, but I got invited to that one, and it also took over my phone and my messages. And I kind of like the way Apple lets me handle my messages, my texts, and I didn't like the way it took those over. And I had to then do double steps to get to old messages and that, and I just didn't like it. So I don't like Taco, and I don't like that. I just like Messenger, and I like text.
Facebook Messenger.
Yeah, Facebook Messenger is my main way to communicate with people. They can always find me there.
Yeah,
and,
I have screen
on Facebook. Yeah, can you not? Okay, that's cool, mate. Let's go to Belinda. Any views on them stories?
I'm just turning my mic on. Sorry.
You're right.
I thought the hotspots were interesting. They've already started offering a few free Wi-Fi hotspots around the Melbourne CBD, particularly in Melbourne Central.
Yep.
So you can, and Flinders Street as well. I think they're doing the same thing where you just turn on and log in, and it's for free.
Yeah. So do you use the Wi-Fi a lot when you're around, if you're in the city and that, Belinda, or do you use
it? Sometimes it's not available though because there's too many people using it at one time.
Okay.
So that could be a problem. So maybe the Telstra thing would be faster or something.
Yeah, definitely. What reason will you need to use the Wi-Fi? What do you need to use it for? Just so
I save on my phone.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, no, if you are looking for a good plan, just go to Optus, mate, and they'll look after you.
Yeah, definitely.
Because you can do shared data and stuff and that sort of thing, and
great
4G and that.
Yeah, I'm still on 3G, so.
Okay, yeah, definitely noticed different with 4G with Optus.
Yeah, I wonder if they could probably upgrade or something like that.
But are you on a contract still, or you're?
Well, it's supposed to have ended last month, so I've got to
There
call
you
them.
go.
Yeah.
Yeah, they'll just put you on a cheap plan. How much do you pay a month on your Optus?
It's about $40, I think.
Oh, it's not bad.
Yeah.
That's not bad. Okay. Andrew, what about you, mate? Any other views, mate, you want to say before you need to go, or you can hang around for a bit?
No, it's just with Talko. I think it's a great app what they're doing, but it just kind of goes to show that you can do something that people have already done before, but if you add a great user experience layer on top of that, you can be really successful. So I think that's interesting. And I mean, much like the Allo, product.
Oh, Allo, yeah.
Yeah, so I sort of see it in the same way. I'm not convinced that the Allo is great user experience yet, but if you can do the same thing people are doing, but in a different way that people adopt, that's okay. You know, I'm not into the Talko yet. Like John said, there's been so many different things come out and go that after a while you kind of get a bit overloaded and you say, you know what, I'm happy using what I've already got.
Yeah.
But good on them, and I'll probably have a look at it at some point. I know Brad, you've been.
What's that, Andrew? Go ahead.
I said I know you've been trying to get me onto Allo for the last week or two.
Yeah, have you been using it?
I haven't downloaded it yet. I probably will have a look because people are starting to say, hey, jump on Allo, and I'm getting those messages and things, but all in good time.
Yep. Cool. All right, mate. We've got John Gotts and Brittany Gotts on as guests today. Welcome, guys.
I'm going to have Brittany talk first.
Bethany.
That's okay. It happens more than you would think. So.
Tell us about what you do. What do you do?
What do I do?
Yeah.
I build companies.
Okay, tell us about this crowded rocket.
Oh, crowded rocket. Okay, that's a little bit more direct. Well, crowded rocket. We are revolutionizing and disrupting the crowdfunding space because there's so many issues right now that Kickstarter and Indiegogo and multitudes of others have with crowdfunding, and that the backers cannot win, and the companies, in the end, don't have the right tools to succeed. And so we are changing that way, so there's not going to be potato salad, and the backers win. And the companies or products win. So that's that in a nutshell. And I'm going to hand it over to John to answer more detailed questions about it.
So, tell us more about it, John.
Yeah, so, we kind of got into the idea when we saw the Oculus Rift get acquired for $2 billion, and the people that put up the original $2.5 million didn't get any of that. And I don't know that they even got a public thank you from the kid that started it, but we set off trying to figure out how here in the States someone could get a financial upside for backing a product. And they've got the Jobs Act coming along that allow non-accredited investors in up to $500 or whatever it is, but we're not talking about that. We're talking about just regular old crowdfunding, done the way it's done now with pre-ordering, or donating. I'm not talking about crowdfunding like AngelList or crowdfunder.com, but we'll do that too. We're talking about specifically people that simply back a project, and that project eventually has a huge financial outcome. We figured out a clever way to reward those backers. And that's where it started. Once we got our hands into it, we sort of noticed that there were some limitations other than that, such as fraud, for instance. You see some kid with a Ferrari and he hasn't delivered the product in 2 years. So that's an issue. And how do you control that? The idea that you could drop the wall, as Kickstarter did, and Indiegogo I think always has, where you can put up anything. And as a joke, a guy tried to raise $10 for potato salad and raised $55,000. Well, that's not what we're about. We're about finding companies that'll be the next Oculus Rift because their technology is so great that you see it and your jaw drops and you have to buy it and you have to tell your friends, and it's very exciting. And when you do that and you involve your friends and they do that, if there's a financial upside, that's shared. Marketing is a problem with Kickstarter. They don't offer a real good way to reach everyone. It turns out that the majority of backers of projects on Kickstarter and others are not actually the trolls that hang out at Kickstarter and look at the projects there, but rather it's when someone like a Scoble talks about it, and traffic is driven there by his, or the New York Times or whoever has a wide audience, and that gets shared around the internet. Well, we want to give an upside to those people as well, right? So we've got a way to market. First of all, find amazing companies and have great flow of deals. So deal flow is going to be an important thing. We've got a way to then condense those down to real winners, that real thought leaders and experts, because they've been there, done that, and made tens or hundreds of millions or more, and they weigh in on these companies. And then we let the crowd think about it. We put them out there. We give them the marketing they need, and then we help them from there and control how much they get. If they fail, we return the balance because it's kept in an escrow, so that they can't just waste through it. And we're going to give them experienced people around them to make sure that they understand how to spend the money as they get it and how to grow and find talent. And so ultimately, we're trying to disrupt the angel space and the crowdfunding space, and we're excited about it.
All right. Go ahead, Andrew.
I was just going to say, so unlike, I guess, other products, Kickstarter and so forth, you're not looking to have, 50 companies sign up and get run on this month and away they go. You guys are actually being quite selective in the companies that come on. Do you think that's going to have a real effect on the quality and ultimately, I guess, the success of the platform? If you have a really stringent quality filter, you're probably going to have, funders more aptly looking at what you guys are doing and looking at your companies as opposed to sort of, a needle in a haystack elsewhere.
Yeah, well, yes, that's exactly the hope with that if we can review all the companies before we put them up for the crowd to review and to fund, then the crowd are getting vetted companies that actually have a real chance of success, instead of a little module somebody built in their garage that wants to make 50 or 100,000 off it because it's a good idea, but they have no company and they have no real way to make it happen. So yes, that's exactly our idea here.
Jody, any questions?
Sorry, I had it on mute. Yeah, I'm curious, John and Bethany, what your background is and what you're bringing to the table that's helping these other companies.
Okay, I'm glad you asked that. So I'm going to let John go first with his background, and I'm kind of, actually I'll go here. So for years, I've only done my own thing in terms of creating businesses. I'm only 21 now, so I haven't had a lot of time to create a lot of different businesses. But for the last 2 years, I've been working with John on our own business, a political software company. And I've been running that solely almost, and helping customers and creating new products and being in this tech space. And before that, I was just kind of a serial entrepreneur, trying to create my own thing and do my own ideas. I love disrupting spaces and finding and building a better mousetrap. So that's what I've done my whole life. And now that I'm in the tech space and with John as my partner, things have really gelled that I can actually get stuff done. I have a team around me and people that can take our ideas and build it and make it into something. So that's my background. But John, go ahead.
Yeah, so I've been creating businesses since I was like 8 years old. I rode my skateboard to E.F. Hutton when I was 11 and met with Roy the stockbroker, and then would go to the public library and read annual reports cover to cover. And it's just, I'm an entrepreneur in my blood. And now, I got to say, I've had ideas for 30 years, and a few of them hit, and we made millions of dollars only, which is not a really any kind of a success in Silicon Valley. That's the closest I ever got. But the interesting thing about this thing is we realize our own limitations, and we started looking for advisors to help us. And rather than them taking advisory roles, they left their companies and left secure jobs to take on roles in this company. So the people that we have on management, and there's about 15 of them now, have all done incredible things for decades in the spaces for which they were hired. So as Henry Ford would say, how did you do this with a ninth grade education? It's because he hired the very best. And we hired the extremely very best, and that's also why, after only incorporating 4 weeks ago, the idea has such legs that we're in final talks with a venture capitalist to put us in at a really, really sweet valuation, but most importantly, to pay these A salaries to make sure that we have people that can execute. Because what we have is truly just an execution play.
Yeah, and I just want to finish up on his thought that what we really bring to these tables for these entrepreneurs, that we're entrepreneurs, and we are hopefully creating a very successful business model so that we can then teach others to follow in our footsteps. That you can't be and act like the smartest player in the room when obviously you don't have all the experience. And that's why you got to get a good team around you and good advisors and other people that will build you up and build your company up. So it can't all be selfish that you're the hero. And I think that's the problem with a lot of entrepreneurs they run into. They don't want to share their glory, if you will, and their ideas. So I hope that answers your question there.
Okay, go ahead, Jen.
Yeah, I have a couple of questions. Yeah, first, and I do see the heartache that is involved with Kickstarter and Indiegogo, and that there is a need for something that works better and something that works with legit companies and that are going to follow through and produce. So kudos to you for doing that. I've been burned by Kickstarter and probably a lot of people that are listening have as well. So I really like the idea. Now, I'm curious now, how will you be helping these companies market? So will you be helping market their campaign or promoting it through your tools, maybe through your social tools? Is that part of it as well?
Well, I'm not going to give away the secret sauce, but let's just say that we have the ability to put them in front of, 100 million people, let's say a month, that are interested in that type of thing. And so they don't have to worry about someone finding them through the New York Times. The New York Times will write about it because the people that are involved with us are all talking about it, and they're now late to the story.
Gotcha. Okay. And if someone were to want to partake in your business in Crowded Rocket, I know right now it's not fully launched yet, but once it is launched, how would they go about doing that?
Well, that will all be explained when we launch on December 1st.
Okay. Oh, so when are you launching?
December 1st.
December 1st, right around the corner.
And we're hoping to open it in actually Australia and Israel as well.
Oh, wow.
Australia won't be there first, and they're actually in the EU and the UK and Canada and India and Korea, South Korea, of course, and Japan and China, Hong Kong. And so we're putting teams together in those countries to duplicate our model so that we can move as quickly as possible to bring deal flow from the whole world, not just the United States. And so we're really excited about that.
Yeah. Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay. Jacob, any questions for the guests?
Just one. How did you get the name Crowded Rocket?
Because all the good names were taken.
That's a good name, though. That's a good name.
No, we kind of, and I thought about it afterwards. If the rocket was too crowded, it's not going to get off the ground, right? But no, just this idea that when you get it right, and you have the right team around you, and team is critical, just like Bethany said. Without a team, you won't get investors, and you won't get the results that you'd get with an A team if you take a B team or a C team. I mean, you got to have amazing team around you. So, I'd say that the name of the company, Crowded Rocket, is the idea that we're going to put you on a launch pad. We're going to take you off into space, and everybody's going to want a ticket on this rocket ship. This is your golden ticket. So there should be a line of entrepreneurs that if they can get that golden ticket, their chance of success is just going to go through the roof. So Crowded Rocket,
So
that's how I came up with the name. Kind of
it's
bad.
like that movie that what's that movie called, Jacob? With that golden ticket in it. Can't remember the name.
Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory.
That's it. Yeah.
Well, if you think about it, Y Combinator is a golden ticket for 80 people, 80 companies rather. 80 companies a year get a chance to work with a brilliant guy like Paul Graham and his team at Y Combinator. A certain number of people are so blessed to get to work with Dave McClure at 500 startups, that kind of thing. That's amazing, and that's incubation and acceleration. So we want to provide that as well, and we will, and we do, because we've already started signing up companies. So, and 100% of them have said yes so far. So
they should get Andrew on board too, John.
He is already.
Is he?
Oh, wow.
All right, good.
He's helping us open Australia, and we have a bunch of appointments this next week.
Well, there you go, mate. There you go. Well, that's it. He's set then. He's set. Steve, any questions?
Yeah, well, just one. What kind of, like I said, people have been mentioning your website is not quite open yet, but what kind of services you're going to be offering these companies for this crowdfunding?
Well, right now it's crowdfunding and getting the money, and getting the money, but also getting the team around you. We're going to help you build the team. We're going to make sure that you have the right legal help. We're going to make sure that you understand how to market, understand how to tell a story that's compelling to the people that would be affected by your product, so that they're going to be interested. Make sure that you have an amazing video, so that videos will get 10 times more interaction on a crowdfunding campaign, for instance, than those that don't. And so how do you create a great video? Well, we've got experts at that. And we've got experts that can do animation videos, and we've got experts that can do just face video and screen capture video. So by applying that for them and marketing their company, and this is after they've been chosen as a golden ticket winner. So these people, these thought leaders, they're not just talking about this because they're not getting paid to talk about it. They're talking about it critically, and so that's sort of like a product hunt. So that's it. That's what we do for them. We are going to do Y Combinator 500 startups, but we're also going to be like a Kickstarter, and a very, very discriminative one that doesn't let anybody in at all. Just you've got to get past a gauntlet to get in. Your team has to be solid. You can't just be one person working out of a garage if you're trying to manufacture something, right?
Yep. That's good point, John. That's good stuff, mate. Belinda, do you have a question?
I was just going to ask you how long it's taken to create Crowded Rocket from the initial.
So February was right at the end of February, we were at the Dent conference, and that's when we came up with the idea, and in fact met some of the team members, and we started at that point thinking about it, and that's when Bethany took over our last consulting company, and full time all I did was research and then discuss it with her every day for right up until 4 weeks ago. We incorporated the company. And so in less than a month, it appears that we may have found an investor. I'm not going to say we did until the money's in the bank, but if not, there's a bunch of people that are interested, and this is just remarkable. So I know, I heard somebody at a wearable conference, Julian Blinn, who's also joined our team as our global biz dev guy. He worked for Samsung with wearables, and he was having this event. And they were just saying, you have to get marketing. You have to get the word out there. And if you don't do that, you're going to fail. So.
Yeah. What does Robert Scoble think about all this, John?
So it was 4 weeks. I mean, that from incorporation to now, but it's been about, 9 months, 8 months? It's not that long.
But Robert Scoble, he loves it. He is an advisor to the company, and he is playing a very, very valuable role. He's giving us a lot of great feedback all the time when we need questions answered, and I think he's pretty excited about it. I'm not going to speak for him, but
I'm sure he would be. Yeah, I'm sure he would be. He's he knows what he's doing. What he's talking
about. Exactly. So he's very valuable, and we're just so excited to have him on the team. And so far, he's very excited.
So do you live near him at all, Bethany? How far away do you live from him?
An hour's flight.
How many?
I'm sorry, I didn't understand the question.
Do you live near him, or do you have far away?
Oh, okay. About an hour's on an airplane.
Okay.
But no, we are up in Sun Valley, Idaho right now, and he's down in Half Moon Bay, California.
Okay.
And so we are going to be moving down there at the end of this month, and that way
nice
we'll
one.
be much closer to everybody on our team.
You're lucky. Good area down there too. Andrew, have you been there, mate? Andrew, you there?
He's gone.
He's gone, has he? I was
Yeah,
going to
he
ask
might
him if
be.
he's been there or not, but I don't know if he has or not. Neil, are you there? What about you, Neil? Do you have any questions?
I don't. Everybody seemed to ask the questions that I would have asked, so
Okay.
I'm actually quite intrigued for December 1st now. I'm very curious to see what you guys are doing.
We'll have to get you back on the podcast around that date, John.
That'll be fun.
You were on here once before, weren't you, promoting something else?
Yeah, it's funny because we had this other company and we were interested in continuing to grow it outside of politics. But frankly, this has a chance to have the kind of valuation of Twitter or higher. And that company I was doing maybe millions. This thing has a chance to be tens of billions if we're right. And it supports it. The business model supports it. And so we're really, really excited about it. So I think that we have a chance to be one of the great companies out of Silicon Valley. And what an honor, And Bethany has a goal to be the youngest billionaire. The youngest one right now is 30 or 32. So it's 30. So if Bethany can get it done in the next 5-6 years, she'll be the youngest billionaire unless someone else beats her in the next 5 or 6 years.
She's only 21, right? She's only 21?
Yeah, only 21.
Wow.
So I've got
Good on you.
a few years.
Good on you. Good on you.
Thanks.
It's unbelievable. Jody, any more questions?
All right, I had it on mute. I'm just curious, what would be an ideal prospect for you guys? What kind of companies are you looking to connect with?
Well, for instance, quite a few of the companies that we are working with right now, they have been in TechCrunch Disrupt type things, or other big contests, or they may have run a campaign on Kickstarter, Indiegogo that didn't really work out, but they had a great product. And a great product to us is something that drops your jaw. That's very cutting edge, very bleeding edge almost. One of the companies I saw yesterday, and we really hope to work with them, is this company Mixie. And Mixie's an ideal picture of what we'd like to see in the way of hardware. They've got a wearable drone that goes on your wrist that has a camera on it that you can toss up in the air, and without doing anything, it just floats away from you a certain distance and videotapes you as you're rock climbing, El Capitan or whatever, And you couldn't do that with, for instance, the AirDog, but the AirDog was awesome too, and it has a little bit more going. It's just not portable, but it can hold a GoPro, and you can say how high above you and where around you, and it'll follow you down a ski mountain, for instance, filming you in front of you or whatever. Those are awesome. We saw this one in London. This guy's got this thing I just absolutely love that looks like a drone that you can ride like a helicopter. And it's just cool. Every guy I've shown it to is just like, I want one. I know, and I know, right? Now that's got FCC and DMV hurdles, but I gave him a suggestion that might get him around a couple of those things, making it safer. So I hope, I hope, I'd be so honored to work with that guy. But we've got an app guy that put a $3,000 speed gun into your iPhone camera so that you can see how fast you're hitting a ball with a tennis ball or soccer ball or throwing a ball. And, that's amazing to me because I can see huge application of it. Shoe with sensors that can tell a doctor in a hospital whether or not the patient's foot is healing right and how much pressure they're putting on it. Or perhaps I imagined even a sports team doctor in the NFL or something, or hockey or whatever, seeing the acceleration of someone's heart rate and whether it's abnormal and their dehydration level and all these things that you could tell. That would tell them, get them off the ice and rehydrate them or whatever so that they play better in the game. So just things like that are so obvious once you hear them that it's crazy, but nobody's heard of it yet. That's what we're looking for, that kind of thing.
Yeah,
right?
definitely. Now, John, how do you like your iPhone 6 Plus, mate, so far? I've got a case in front of me, but it's pretty good size, you reckon? Good size?
Yeah, it's funny because, I got a 6 first, and then I was like, no, I should have gotten bigger. And then I went over and got 6 Plus, and the first day I used my 6, my thumb was cramping up because I kept trying to use the old-fashioned motions of the 5S that I had.
Yeah.
But once I get used to the idea that it was a two-handed device now rather than one, then I wanted a 6 Plus. And with the 6 Plus, I'd never go back to.
So you recommend the 6 Plus to anyone, to everyone?
Absolutely the best thing that Apple's ever made that I'm aware of. I mean, it's amazing.
So you recommend the 6 Plus to Jody then, John?
The photo I took the other day, absolutely. The photo I took the other day in California, I stayed at a friend's house the first night. Took a picture of the moon setting over the Santa Cruz Mountains.
Yeah.
And my friend took one with her iPhone 5S, and guess what? The 5S was a yellow dot you could barely make out as a dot. Mine, I posted on Facebook. It's a pretty nice shot of the moon.
Oh yeah, definitely. I've seen that. Yeah.
So the 6 Plus to the 5S is not. You can't compare the two. It's apples and oranges on there. And the other is, of course, that Bethany and I used our mini iPad a lot, and now the iPad Mini's been relegated to the bathroom, or it's a reading device now for the bathroom, because I have not touched it again since I got the 6 Plus.
So you won't get the new iPad then when it comes out?
No, absolutely not. But I will get a watch.
The watch,
that has obvious. It's got obvious use. My phone is usually with me, but if it's plugged into the phone, and I'm in the kitchen and the phone rings, my obvious reaction today is to run to the other room before I miss the call. Whereas with the iPhone, I could see right there who's calling, and if I really should run right now or just keep cooking, miss the call, or put it to voicemail, or if there's a text, I can maybe reply on the phone real quick, or the watch, or know who it was at least.
Yeah, definitely.
So it's a watch and a 6 Plus, and I think you're set.
What's your favorite app on the iPhone so far, John?
Well, I would say that Mailbox is awesome, because Mailbox, I use Messenger and Mailbox exclusively, besides text, but that I don't see as an app, because phones had text before their apps. But Mailbox brings all of my stuff in. It checks it like every minute, so it always alerts me before my regular real Mailbox alerts me. So I turn those alerts off. And then Messenger is awesome. Yeah, and now my favorite app now actually is Slack. We've been using it for the team. As the team's growing and growing and growing, we have to have a place that we can segment off the different things that we're looking at and talking about in the different groups. And with Slack, you get notifications when anyone on your team in any of these different groups does anything that you want, messages for. And then you can get in there and look at PowerPoints and Excel spreadsheets and Word documents and pictures, and you can, weigh in on things. And Slack is amazing.
Yep. And what about you, Bethany? Do you have any favorite apps you like to use on your phone?
Of course. I think Slack... I'm sorry, having John mute his. So I think that Slack is an amazing app as well. And of course, I use Messenger all the time, and Pinterest probably is a second one, if you could believe that.
Right.
And Facebook. As far as any other apps I've really tried out, I find my iPhone can just get clogged up with too many apps.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
I don't like looking at it all the time, so that's about that.
You get bored of apps very easy. What about the new Tiny app from Kevin Rose? Have you tried that one out yet?
I have not. No, I will look that up right now, though.
Yeah,
Brad, what is your opinion on it?
It's boring. I've used it. Have you used it?
Yep, it's boring.
Yeah, it's I think it's cool for his first little venture with his new little company, but it's not. I played with it for about a week, and then I was like, I'm just going to go back to Instagram.
Yeah, definitely, mate. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, there's so many better apps besides that one, but
I can't get into it either. Same thing. I feel it bores me. It's just the same old,
same people on there,
the same stupid stuff over and over. Yeah.
Well, and that's the problem too. Is there's not a big adoption. So my stream was Daria doing something lame, Kevin doing something even more lame, David Prager, and Brad's dog.
Oh yeah, and also their dog too. They pack up their dog too, which is a nice dog. Yeah.
And I was following Sarah Lane, and I was following all the old, Ziff Davis TV, the old ZDTV, and
ZDTV guys,
yeah. I followed all of those guys because they're all friends of Kevin, so they were all testing it out, and I just I couldn't get into it. I deleted it after a week.
Yeah, true.
Speaking about apps, while we're on it, I just wanted to pose a question: if Ello had an app right now, would you be using Ello more?
Yeah, I would. Definitely. Yeah, I would for sure. You can actually use it on you can actually use it on your iPhone at the moment. Still, you can still use it.
Oh yeah, but you'd have to go through Safari. It's not an official app.
If
Thing.
if they had an app, I would definitely use it more. That's
If
I
you,
have a challenging time without the app.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead. Sorry.
No, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cut you off, but hey, that's the world of Skype. If you're already on Ello, are you allowed to send out invites? Because I've been waiting for 2 weeks for my invite after I requested it and haven't gotten one.
Oh, do you want one, Neil?
If you've got one,
I've got one, mate. Yeah, I'll hook you up. Yeah, I'll hook you up.
Yeah, I've got a few as well. So if you need a few more, message me on Facebook or.
And if you want a whole lot more, just send yourself an invite and to another email address. You got 5 more, and then send that another one.
Yep.
That's clever.
Yeah,
I never even thought about that.
I had done the request like over a week ago, and I was like, "Is this one of those like once you're in, you get invites? If so, I need to find somebody who has one."
That's interesting. I got like 20 invites, and I've used 3 of them, so I'm not sure why.
So what is all of your opinions? Since I haven't gotten to play with it yet, and it sounds like a majority of you have. Really quickly, what's your opinions on it?
I like it. I like that it's nice and clean. There aren't any ads on it. I feel like, especially over the past couple of weeks, it slowed down a little bit this past week, but in the beginning, it had that freshness that Google Plus had when Google Plus first launched, and you had all the kind of like the geeks all getting together and everyone's all into it and what can we do? And that was a lot of fun. So, I've had a lot of fun with it. I think it's a pretty platform. It definitely needs a lot more features, but it is in beta, so I'm hoping to see more things roll out soon. And I do need an app. I post a lot less to it because of the fact that I have to go to the desktop. It's really hard for me to post from the browser on both the iPhone and my Android phone. I have a hard time with it.
It is.
I think it showed up a good thing to Facebook that don't mess with the lesbian and gay community. They'll kick your ass because that's what happened, right? I mean, the transgender, not transgender. What was it that female impersonators? Yeah, right. They were using fake names, like Honey Smith or whatever. I don't know, make up a name, but it wasn't their real name. And Facebook said, "Get out of here." And they started just shutting off these people's accounts that might have been there for years and years. And so they went over to Ello, and then somehow it got into the thought leader community, who started sharing it. And then it was a big deal to get an Ello invite. And the next thing you know, they're doing 50,000 downloads. And if not for their horrible infrastructure that won't allow them to scale, man, oh man, it felt a little like she was saying Google Plus. I was thinking like Twitter, where they don't have what you need, and so the community's kicking in and figuring it out, And I thought, wow, how cool it's going to make it. But it all started, and then Facebook comes on, of course, apologizes. But it all started because Facebook didn't do what a group of people on there wanted, and started, I would say, discriminating. And shame on them, but they apologized, so good for them. But in that amount of time, Ello had a chance to kick their ass and take a little bit of their community, and that was interesting.
That was interesting. You're right. It came at a perfect time, right? Right when that was going on, and then all of a sudden, Ello starts kind of launching even further. They had previously launched in beta, but launching more so in beta with the invites and all, and it just came at a perfect time. So
I mean, it's just a lesson that you don't discriminate. Period. Don't discriminate, or you're going to get hurt. This is a small world now because of the internet, and if you discriminate, you're going to get bruised.
I just really feel like there's a need for another social platform that starts out with manifesto that they're taking your information and they're going to do something.
Well, I mean, Ello's got investors now, so then the big question became after that, are they going to take your information? Are they going to eventually have ads? Are they going to have to pay for a service? But if they're I can't, you're breaking in and out. I hear every other word like you're underwater.
Okay, well, the very first thing that is in the manifesto is that social network is owned by advertisers.
I still can't hear anything you're saying. I'm getting like every third word.
Type it in chat and we'll read it off.
But anyway, John and Bethany, where can they get hold of you if they want to ask you more questions about your startups and stuff?
Well, Facebook's always the best way.
Okay, Facebook.
Messenger.
Messenger? What about email? Got an email address or Twitter or something?
John at crowdedrocket.com.
Okay.
Yeah, and Bethany at crowdedrocket.com.
Sweet.
Of course.
All right. Well, good to have you on, guys. Appreciate your time being on.
Cheers. Thanks.
And,
Thank you so much for having us.
No problem. Coming back on any time. Steve, what about you? What's your final view of the show, mate? I'm going to get hold of you.
Yeah, it was interesting to find a different perspective on the crowdfunding source and give them a better support system for these companies to actually succeed and better for the backers as well. And I'm going to turn this on so you guys can see. And you can get me on Twitter as Chatterbox_live. And if you're watching the live video, the video feed of the Tech Webcast, you can also see my information here also on my website.
Okay, it hasn't come up yet at all yet.
It will.
It's come up for me. There it is. Good stuff. Yep. Good stuff, Steve. Well done. Well made. Let's go to Belinda. What about you? What's your final view of the show and that sort of thing?
It's very interesting to hear about the various apps that are around.
Yeah.
There's some that I haven't heard of, so it's good to know that there's lots more that I could possibly download on my phone, but it's becoming a bit cluttered. So
will you be getting the iPhone 6 or the iPhone 6 Plus, Belinda?
Probably just the 6, yeah. I'll ask for an upgrade.
Yeah, ask for an upgrade. Yeah, they'll probably give it to you for free.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, that's good stuff. Well, let us know when you get the new phone and you can come and talk about it. Jody, what about you? Will you be getting the iPhone 6 Plus or the iPhone 6?
Well, first of all, if you can hear me.
Yep.
Okay.
Now you're sounding perfect.
It's amazing, isn't it? No, the point I was trying to make before is that if you read the manifesto that is the entering page for Ello, and that you have to agree to before you sign up, it says that Ello is owned by advertisers, and every post, everything you say, everything you do will be tracked and will be sold. So I'm just making that point because everybody's like, oh yeah, it's another social network. Well, guess what? It's still a way of tracking everything that we're doing. So, it just kind of cracks me up that on one hand everybody's like, yay privacy, and then on the other hand it's like, yay Ello, because it's the next thing that came down the block, and it's not any different. So, I'm just saying.
So you're not using Ello yet, then, Jody?
I don't see a need for it, Brad.
Okay, fair point.
And I don't know. I mean, everybody who's like, oh gosh, let's be an early adopter. Oh, let's run out and buy a $1,500 pair of Google Glass. I'm sorry, it's like, to me, it doesn't necessarily mean that it's great just because it's new.
Well, isn't that gone away now? Google Glass, that's been stopped talking about, hasn't it?
What? Nobody's talking about it.
Has that gone away now, or Google Glass?
I don't know. Maybe everybody's going to start talking about watches next. Who knows?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
But as far as the 6 goes and the 6S, I think it's cool. I think it's neat that Apple comes out with a new phone every year. I guess what I'm still kind of confused about, being so super old school, is that it used to be kind of neat that when technology improved, it got smaller, and like, how could they cram so much information into such a small device? So it kind of puzzles me why so many people are clamoring for bigger phones. I mean, I don't want to be carrying an iPad. I don't want to be carrying around a boom box and talking on my iPad. I want a phone that's going to be small. And
I think the 6 will be a good size for you, Jody.
Well, do you use earbuds though, or do you actually put your phone to your face? Because I look at the phone as a radiation device, that the weaker your signal, the harder it's working to catch that signal and therefore more radiation. And so I don't stick it anywhere near my face. I've got an earbud in and I can hear better, and if there's noise around me, it cancels it and I can get more. But I'm curious, do you actually stick your phone to your face?
Do I stick my phone to my face? I have been known to stick my phone to my face from time to time.
Well, see, then that would make sense.
Being a female,
if you're going to hold it like a traditional phone.
Being a female and wearing makeup is not necessarily a great thing with a phone that's got a glass screen. So, have I held it up to my face? I prefer to use it primarily through Bluetooth. I use it when I'm driving in my car. Of course, at this point in time, the battery life is draining so dramatically that I'm afraid to use it, but that's a whole different story.
Wow.
Okay.
But I would go. I
talk about talking
venture,
into your phone, and I just
yeah, I know, right?
talking
But
into your
I almost
iPad.
I know. I'm venturing to hope that when this watch comes out, which is not an iWatch, just a watch, that at some point, ultimately, that will become the phone, and we'll have a choice between something that's small and fits on your wrist, and that you don't have to take this big screen, but you also have the option. Yeah, you also have an option of using a bigger screen if you want to actually see what it is. But as far as like a device to carry around and to communicate with, and being ultra portable, I would love to have something I wear around my wrist. But anyway, that's just my 2 cents. I just don't understand the phones getting bigger.
Yeah, I think the 4.7 screen's a good size.
I want to be like Zoolander and have like that little teeny phone.
Yeah, I was thinking about that too.
I know, right?
I know.
The phone of the future.
Yeah. Okay, Jay, where can they get hold of you if they want to ask you any questions?
Oh, well, you can find me on Twitter as Sunswept, and you can find me pretty much everywhere else as either Jody Rains or WebMarcom at webmarcom.net.
All right, good stuff. You can get me on Twitter, Brad. I was on a Tech Webcast. Jacob Jones, what about you, mate?
Hold on, I was hitting the wrong button.
Okay, as you always do.
No, I was trying to hit the share screen button instead of the mic.
Oh, okay, fair enough, mate. Yep.
So what I liked about the show is everybody is happy for the news and stuff.
Yeah, definitely, mate.
And showing out the new tech and stuff.
Yep.
And you can follow me at jazzbot326691Z.
Whatever happened to your podcast, Jacob? So did you stop doing it, mate?
Taking a long hiatus.
Yeah, that's yeah. Okay, Neil, what about you, mate? Where can I get hold of you?
You can get me on Twitter, Geek with Glasses. You can Facebook Geek with Glasses, geekwithglasses.net, or search Geek with Glasses on YouTube.
Cool.
The channel is actually Geek W Glasses Live, because that was back when I was doing the live show when I created the channel.
Yeah. You still doing any live shows at all, mate, or you stopped doing that?
You know what? I'm getting ready to start a new segment with a couple of buddies of mine, and we're going to use Google Hangouts. So we might see a resurgence of live shows.
Yeah, I see a lot of people using Hangouts now for them sort of shows. It's getting popular.
Yeah, I like Hangouts. It's very low resource hungry. Like it a lot.
Yeah, true. Okay, who else? Jacob, have we missed anyone else?
Me.
Oh, Jennifer, sorry. What about you, Jennifer?
That's okay. So I thought the show was fantastic tonight. I really enjoyed learning about Crowded Rocket, and great to talk with you again, Bethany and John. Yes. And as far as where people can find me online, I'm at getnerdywithit.com. We just did a show last night, but I've been working I was working nonstop today, all day long until like right before the show. So I haven't even had a chance to edit it and get it up. So it will be up tomorrow. But we talk with Lisa Padilla, or actually Lisa Davis, actually. About nameplace.com. So that's her new startup, and it's quite exciting. So check that out. So getnerdywithit.com.
What's that about?
What's that?
What's that about?
It is about working with municipalities, right? It's sponsorship, so it's working with sponsorships and advertising opportunities for for the cities, I can't speak tonight. Municipalities. Thank you. Thanks, Bethany. And being kind of that middleman or that agency between the advertisers and the sponsors and the cities. So. So really cool website, and I'm excited for her.
Cool. Yeah, I'm very excited for her. I just have to say, I think she's amazing. She's going to go far with this. Just my 2 cents. Sorry to.
No, I'm glad that you did. I agree. Yeah.
Yep. And it's Jacob's birthday in 2 weeks, Jennifer.
Is it Jody's birthday in 2 weeks? Well, we'll have to sing her happy birthday in 2 weeks on the show.
Hey, Nimra, me.
Oh, I thought you said Jody.
I said Jacob, didn't I?
You said Jacob. No, I thought you said Jody's birthday.
I thought you said Jody too, but
when is Jody's birthday?
It's a secret.
Okay. Anyway, it's just
on my phone.
Okay.
Well, great show tonight, guys.
Yeah, great show. Yeah, appreciate you being on, John and Bethany. Appreciate your time. And Neil, thanks for being on.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for the invite. That was awesome.
No problem, mate. Come back on any time if you want to have a chat and stuff, and that's everything. Cool. Also, Belinda, thank you for being on.
Yeah, no problem.
Come back on any time.
It's really great.
Yep. And Jacob Jones, thanks, mate, for being on.
You're welcome.
And you lost the game, Jacob Jones.
Ah, crud.
Techwebcast. The hosts and guests are unsurpassed. Techwebcast. 'Cause technology, it moves so fast. Techwebcast. Ha! Stick around and you're gonna have a blast. Yeah! Techwebcast. Ha! Ha! Techwebcast. Big ups to Andrew, to Brad, Jody, Steve, and Jennifer. Boom!